What's going on, guys? My name is Austin, and in this video, we're going to talk about dopamine, okay? What is dopamine, first of all? Most people have maybe heard this somewhere in the news from Andrew Huberman from someone. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's chemical that motivates us to want to do things, essentially. It makes us feel good, it motivates us, does those things. One thing that kind of crystallized what dopamine is really for us in our bodies is when Andrew Huberman said this rat study. He explained this rat study. And the rat study basically took the dopamine receptors from a rat and out of a rat's brain and blocked them off and said, okay, you're not going to be able to get any dopamine to your receptors in your brain or body. Rat was put right beside a feeding tube and they wanted to see what it would do. Well, it started feeding and they were like, that's weird. Why is it still feeding if it doesn't have any dopamine receptors? Like, wouldn't that mean it wouldn't want to eat? It wouldn't want to do anything. Well, dopamine's not the only thing that makes you feel good. You have things like serotonin, oxytocin, and all these other things, and endorphins. So then what the experimenters did was they took this rat without dopamine receptors and they moved it back one rat length from the tube, okay? And then they observed what it did. This is where it got really fun, is the rat didn't move at all. It didn't move at all to get closer to the food to eat. And why that's important is because dopamine is for motivation. Dopamine is something that basically tells us to move in our body. It motivates us to move. And that's the real important thing that you need to understand for dopamine. And we need to be able to produce dopamine in our body. And the two biggest ways you can do this is by eating a healthy diet that has the right, chemical or right stuff in it, right stuff in the food that help you build dopamine. And then exercise actually helps you build more dopamine as well, because your body just naturally builds that dopamine when you exercise or walk or run or do anything. So what are some things, how does dopamine get built in your body? Well, it uses this amino acid called tyrosine. Tyrosine can be found in a multitude of different foods, but mostly animal products. And tyrosine is converted to L-DOPA, and then L-DOPA is converted to dopamine. And so the foods you eat matter. And so that's why if you're eating foods that have a lot of tyrosine in it, then your body can actually use that tyrosine to make more dopamine. Okay? That doesn't mean your body's just going to start creating dopamine all of a sudden. It just has the building blocks to create more dopamine. And then when you exercise, your body starts creating dopamine because you're moving forward, you're making progress, all these things. And your body has to create dopamine to kind of balance that, basically the hurt in your body that you're getting from the movement a little bit. And then also motivating you to want to do more of that movement if it is something that is gratifying for you, if it's something that's pushing you in the right direction. So dopamine is a really interesting chemical because it's going to motivate us to want to do more in life. And so it's a good understanding of the food you eat and the exercise that you do are things that are actually going to promote more dopamine in your body. Now, you can get dopamine in a bunch of different ways. You can play video games, you can get dopamine. You can eat candy, you can get dopamine, all the other things. But those aren't necessarily the most advantageous things you can do for the long term. I'm not saying don't play dopamine. I'm not saying don't play video games and don't eat candy, but there are healthier ways to get dopamine production in your body rather than doing those things all the time, because you do need to move as a human and you do want to eat healthy food as a human on a consistent basis. So that is a short dopamine breakdown of why it's good to walk, run, exercise, do all these things, and then eat healthy food, because these are the things that are going to help drive us to want to do better in life and to motivate us to make progress. That's all I got. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions on dopamine, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much.